Hi, are you over 50? Then one day you will retire. You don't think so? You're one of those people who are going to keep on working till you slump over dead at the workspace? Don't you kid yourself. Everything changes. Everything. Oh, except one thing. You. I'm not talking about your body, not talking about how you think or what you believe. I'm talking about you. That you, that I am, which has been looking out through your eyes from when you were a little boy or a little girl and is still there now. The witness, the experiencer of your life. That's the only thing that doesn't change. So if you're over 50 and you want a good retirement, start thinking about it now. Start thinking about the other half of your life. Now you might think that that's an exaggeration. If you're 50, are you going to live to 100? You'd have to live to 100 for that to be the other half of your life. That said though, and I've said this in other videos, there are exactly the same amount of years between 25 and 55 and between 55 and 85, 30 years. In the first 30 of those years, you set up your life. Possibly become married, have children, raise the children to adulthood, they leave home, you're now 55 years of age, you're at the peak of your career, and you're thinking to yourself, what next? And if you're becoming a bit disillusioned by that time, as so many people are, that usually starts to happen in the late 40s, you're thinking to yourself, well, I've been climbing the ladder to success. Maybe it's been leaning against the wrong wall. Only you can know that. If your job has been giving you deep satisfaction and you know that this is for you, then of course you'll want to stay on as long as you can. But even so, even if you determine that you will stay on because you love your job, you love your business, whatever it might be, it will change. Start making the plans now for retirement. And not just financial plans. Think about all the other aspects of your life. What brings you happiness? Certainly security. Monetary security brings you some happiness. What about physical security? What about mental security? We all know that people get older, and when they get into very old age, a lot of them become senile. They even get Alzheimer's. Not necessarily going to happen to you. One thing though, you can keep senility at bay by being a lifelong learner, developing a passion for something and keep learning about it, keep expanding the mind, joining new neural circuits in the brain. Keep growing, keep being better. Keep aiming for something within yourself, not the acclaim of others, not the pats on the back, but how you think and feel and believe yourself to be. Are you growing as a human being? Will you be growing still into old age? Will you really reach the peak when you fall off the peg? Or will you throw it all in when you're about 60 or so, sit in front of the TV, take the dog for a walk, play the occasional game of golf if you're a golfer, maybe go fishing every now and again if you're a fisherman? Is that enough? These are just diversions. These are relaxations that we all have, like going out in the morning and having a cup of coffee. sitting down and eating a couple of biscuits at the table with a cup of tea. These are things that we need to do. Of course, we need our relaxation. But if we want to plan for our health, mental and physical, in retirement, which is just as important, probably even more important than the monetary aspect of it, then start working on it now. Right from this moment, determine what really drives me, what do I really want to do? Because when you reach retirement, it happens so often, people suddenly find themselves with all this time on their hands. They've had a routine, maybe hard work with commuting and so forth, full days of not much to do except watch the TV when you get home tired in the evening. Now you've got all day, 7 days a week. Or as I say to when people ask me, what are you doing? I say I'm on the 7-day weekend. But it's not like a weekend. Because when you're working and it's a weekend, you have the security of knowing you're going to go back to work in all probability. Your days ahead, the next 5 days or whatever it might be, 5.5, even 6 days, are all accounted for, committed to, worked out. Not so when you retire. You need to plan as early as you can. I say, over 50, you will retire one day. It could be a long way off. You could be one of those persons who works into their 70s and even into their 80s. But by the time you get to your late 80s, and I'm 88 now, and have been retired, as I've said before, 29 years and loving it, you will retire. That is, your life will change in some way so that you cannot or no longer feel obliged to do or even want to do what you're doing now. So think about it. There's as many years between 25 and 55 as between 55 and 85. 30 years. Chances are you will be retired for a third of your life. A third, 33% of your life, you could be a retiree, or even longer. I've been a retiree, so-called, for more than a third of my life. And yet these have been such productive years for me. I've done so much. I'm into writing, speaking to audiences, and self-knowledge and all those sorts of things, and I've pursued them avidly, rigorously, passionately, and continue to do so. I didn't plan, not as well as I should, but fortunately life has been very good to me. It could be the same for you, but it won't hurt you when you think about it to start planning now. Over 50, you will retire someday. Think about it, dwell on it, and plan for it.